You're listening to the Name Drop Podcast, the brainchild of Indie Consulting, a full-service marketing partner. We are here to reveal the industry experts and brilliant founders behind the marketing campaigns and brands you know and love. In a world where things change fast and marketing is the opposite of static, we are here with a behind-the-scenes look on marketing geniuses and how they find their inspiration, hoping to inspire you along the way. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Name Drop Podcast. Today we are sitting down with a really interesting entrepreneur who's going to be talking to us about all things e-commerce, making the transition from being a professional athlete to starting a company, and what it really looks like to be an entrepreneur, specifically within the e-commerce space. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode. It should be a good one. Let's do it. Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
I am good.
It's good to see you.
Oh, it's good to see you too.
How's the morning been?
Can't complain. Can't complain. It's October. It's finally getting cool down here, which is why I moved here in the first place. So I'm loving it. So
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. Have you already been working this morning?
I have. Never not working.
No.
It would seem, but nothing to complain about.
Love it. Love it. And we're in Cary. Good old Cary. Do you ever come to Cary?
I do. My wife's parents live here in Cary. That's where she's from. And honestly, my mother-in-law is a fantastic cook. So I'm probably at their house more than they'd like me to be at this point. But so I do come over here quite a bit. I
love it.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. So without revealing yourself, tell us a little bit about what's top of mind professionally right now.
Yeah, we sell 99% direct to consumer with our business for our products, and so as you can imagine, the holiday e-com season is upon us. It's all consuming. Just trying to get our segmentation done, get our offers tight. We don't do anything crazy at the holidays, but seemingly you can never prepare enough. So. We're in our fifth year as a business. We just finished our fourth year. So every year we try to say to ourselves we're going to be better prepared for Q4, and seemingly I forget something. But it's just such a tight window to focus on the customer experience, having the right products ready to go, and and just get through to December 25th. So. That's the focus for us mostly. We actually have a very long product development cycle. So at the same time, like that never stops for Q4, unfortunately. So we try to push those things along as best we can. We have a lot of new products coming out in 2025, which is really exciting, but trying to wear a lot of hats right now and make sure that those products don't get left behind and we get those out. So it's just a juggling act.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I think it's a battle, but it's great.
Good.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, how do you plan for Q4, for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all the holidays, but then also plan for 2025 at the same time so that you don't show up in January and think, oh God, I haven't even started thinking about this yet.
Oh, it's such a weird feeling because we have pretty lofty growth goals. So I look at what we need to do for Q4, and then I'm like, well, is 2025 actually more important than what I'm doing right now? And trying to juggle those things is quite difficult. I think we put ourselves in a decent position in terms of we don't do anything crazy. Like I said, at the holidays, we run a 2-week sale. It's our only sale of the year. So the messaging is quite clear, right? We only do this once a year. Yep. Our customer base and our prospect base, they react very well to this one-time sale from us, it would seem. So that part makes it a little easier for us to plan it, get it ready. We're not scrambling too much that we can't also make sure we're preparing for 2025. For us, and again, without giving away too much, we are seasonal in that Q2 is really important for us. So then we start to say, if Q2 is important, that means things have to happen in Q4 to be ready for that.
Right.
Definitely from a product inventory standpoint, and any of our ongoing partnerships and marketing initiatives need to also be planned. So I'll probably take Christmas off and then just right back on the 26th.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find myself, I think now, but this was harder in the early days. Now it's come September, it's like, okay, what needs to happen to close out the year? But then how are things starting to come into place for the next year?
Right.
And I feel like the first couple of years in business, you're so focused on just executing that I wasn't even thinking about the next year until December. And then the next year is kind of already happening in December. You
It's
know what I
already
mean?
happening.
Yeah, it's already
It's already
happening now.
happening.
Yeah.
I know.
So staying ahead of that curve is it just takes different parts of your brain, I guess, thinking about things at once.
Totally. And I mean, I have a co-founder, and he has the nice, even, no pulse. It's all going to be okay. We're just going to keep working through it. And I have like a 5-alarm fire every day.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep my panic attacks down to 1 a day for him, so that he stays with us. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. You see a lot during this period of customer feedback.
Yeah.
Things you wish you had, things you wish you did. And we're trying now to just aggregate those things and say, okay, how do we put that on a roadmap to execute as a long-term strategy instead of just scrambling to do things all the time. But yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what are you really good at? Brag about yourself.
What am I good at?
Yeah.
Well, I this actually I find I still hold this over my business partner's head. Our number one performing meta ad was shot on an iPhone and it was edited by me in Canva.
Okay.
And the thing is still going. It's the perennial winner. It does
That's
not
amazing.
get beat. It is amazing. And I always puff my chest whenever I see it if I get served that ad. But I also sit there and I'm like, why can't we beat this thing?
Yeah.
We're constantly trying new creative, and seemingly either Meta or our customers, whatever's in the algorithm, just loves this ad. We've tried to replicate it, doesn't work.
Do you keep it just ongoing?
Mm-hmm.
So you never take it out either. You just keep putting new things in and seeing if it will beat it.
It's something that I've asked our ad buying team about, to say hey, at what point do we want to retire some of these things?
Is it not fatigued at all?
It doesn't seem to be, and it's such it's such a good ad in terms of the messaging. It's like something that is foundational to our brand about what our products do. And the person featured in it is just such a well-known professional athlete that I have a hard time turning it off.
Yeah.
Or at least our ad buyers do. They've asked me to keep it rolling. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, let's say again, that's part of the initiatives for 2025 as a small business. We know there are lots of things we haven't invested in and tried. So, trying to put that on a timeline where we can actually execute it is our next goal.
So you're a brilliant ad creative.
Apparently, and Canva's worth every bit of the whatever 28 billion that they're worth.
Yep, I would agree with you on that for sure.
Yeah.
So you spoke a little bit before about customer feedback and community feedback.
Mm-hmm.
How important has that been to you and your team as you've continued to build out your product line and your brand?
Yeah. No, it's been super important. I think there is a balance to be struck where you set out to build a business, create a brand, and you have these foundational principles and products you want to build because, hey, it's your company, and I think that's really fun to build something that you want to build. At the same time, especially being in e-commerce, the tools that are available to get constant customer and prospect feedback are just incredible. Especially even in the last 4 or 5 years since we launched our business, what has become available, and now you're starting to layer in AI. But for us, that's really helped us to get feedback from users on what they do like, and more importantly, what we didn't get right in our first pairs, our first products that we made. My co-founder is such a rock, and he was just like, we built the best product. The first product is the best product. And I'm freaking out, being but it doesn't have this, but it doesn't have that. And look at this customer's upset. And he's like, okay, let's just, over time, we'll aggregate this data and we'll start making more informed decisions. And we went from one product in 2020 to 2 products by 2021 or end of 2021. So we were very slow in that development.
Yeah.
And at that point, we felt like we had enough customers to really start to take more, I call them risks just because they're investments in product. And now we have 9 or 10 products
awesome.
that are meeting different needs. So that is all to say that there has been a lot of customer feedback that's been aggregated as to what we can improve on. I would say, I mean, we always had kind of ideas of what we wanted to build, and the customer feedback really actually allowed us to make tweaks to something that we already thought was foundationally what we wanted to do, to get it, from a 95% there to 99 to 100%. So it's those little things I think that really make a product differentiated. But at the same time, like I said, like you can't listen to all your customers. I wish you could.
Right.
We get a lot of funny requests. I want this. I want this color. I want all this. And I'm like, if we did that, we'd have about 10,000 SKUs.
Right.
So,
You
so we're
can't
not
do
going
it
to do
all.
that. But
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's super impactful to engage with customers on that level.
So aggregate feedback over time, make optimizations, but don't jump at every whim.
I would love to. I would love to build everything, and unfortunately can't please everybody.
Yeah,
but
that's the truth.
Yeah,
I'm so curious what the most interesting thing people have asked for is.
I think trying to give away exactly what we do, but essentially like different color combinations that I'm kind of like,
you're like, that's weird.
I don't know where you got that from, but I don't think that would sell very well if we made that.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
So yeah, there's been some. Actually, one of the other funny ones is like, I would say building products that are just like not related to what we do at all.
Interesting. Okay.
And just saying like, again, if you're in these markets, like why aren't you building more stuff? And I actually think that, again, that's like start going into more products, different product verticals, just because you have a brand. And we feel like we're doing really well by staying focused on the products that we make and making them well.
Yeah. I think that's smart. I think a lot of times, especially in the consumer goods space, sometimes you see brands just starting to pump out all these new verticals and SKUs and just try to grow through variety really fast, but then you can lose focus in that too, which totally. I feel like it's worked. I've seen it work, but I've also seen it totally fall apart by getting too far away from the core.
Totally. I mean, for us, we're a really small team. And I think it not only helps we stay focused on our core products, but it essentially allows the marketing side to be a lot easier in the sense that we focus, what's the messaging for these core products? Let's iterate on that messaging, and nobody's confused when they get to our website what we do and what we sell.
Right.
And we don't try to play in other product verticals because we believe there's lots of other companies that do those things very well. You can definitely have accessories as it relates to your shop for more stuff from like a brand perspective. But, as far as what we invest in product wise and marketing wise, it's all based on our core products.
That's awesome. Yeah. What relationship has been most impactful on you professionally?
I would say, given again, our very, very small team, it would be with my co-founder, Jordan. We went to middle school together.
That's awesome.
We were friends in high school, but he went to a different high school a little bit away from me, but we stayed very close. We went to different colleges, but we always stayed in touch. He was in New York City after school. I was up in just north of New York City. So yeah, we were always staying in touch, and I pitched him on this idea that I had to start this business. And he was kind of looking at getting into the startup space, and he was like, yeah, I'll help you out for a couple months, and then I got to do something serious. And I was like, all right, sounds good. Just give me a couple months.
Yeah.
And here we are. And that was 2017. So 7, almost 8 years later.
That's amazing.
I think it's been, it's been great to start a company with a co-founder for the positives and for the difficulties that he has a different style than I do. Like I said, I love to move really fast. I like to make lots of new products. And he is more of a slow growth kind of let's chip away. Let's make sure the business is built in a very sustainable way, which I agree with. I just, again, I'm kid in a candy shop. I wish I could do everything.
Yeah.
But to manage that relationship the way we play off each other and some of the difficulties we've gone through together trying to get this started, I think has been very impactful for me to not just be, the solo person at the helm. I played professional squash, and it's an individual sport, and I'm responsible for winning and losing. And all of a sudden, when we started this business, that's not the case anymore. We're in it together.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just been an awesome experience for me. Like I said, on both the great stuff to share together and the challenges that we've been able to get through together. I think there's nothing like starting a business with a friend. So
I believe that.
Yeah.
So how much formality did you guys bring into getting started? Like, was it really just, let's give this a shot and we'll see? Or did you, as friends, sort of set ground rules going in about how you would prioritize your friendship versus your working relationship? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, I think it almost like just kind of like bumped along until all of a sudden it was very formal, because I think at the beginning with the idea, it was like, let's just start emailing product vendors and like, let's just have lots of lengthy talks over coffee or, whatever in terms of what we're trying to do here. And it was so like, he was in between, he had just left his job. He was working with a couple of startups, just trying to get his hands dirty in that space. And, I was just one of them.
Right.
So I think at the beginning it was informal. And I was actually still playing professional squash. So it was almost like, all right, when I'm not on court, like we can talk about what we're doing, try to move things forward.
Yeah.
And once we actually started building our first product, I think that's when it got very real what we were doing, because it was a big investment.
Yeah.
We were both in 50-50, and but once we started doing that, we were like, okay, we're actually considering building a business. I don't think you can, especially in our vertical, it's not like a product you can just build and not build a business as well.
Right.
There was no testing.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's like, get the LLC together, 50-50 ownership. And again, I think this was a learning experience for me. I was still on tour and I was doing a lot of things that were, focused on still being able to perform at the highest level. And I think that was probably very hard for Jordan at that time, because he was like, I'm starting to focus more and more on this. Like, when are we going to make that transition? Which is, it was hard for me to stop playing.
Sure.
I think any pro athlete will say that it's difficult to give it up.
Yeah.
I think it just all of a sudden was formal. And I think the next big step was launching the product and seeing it get traction.
Right.
We were holding our breath to be like, this is where either this turns into a company or we dissolve the LLC, shake hands, and
move
go
on.
separate ways. Right.
Yeah.
So that was definitely an interesting time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us who you are. What do you do?
My name is Chris Hanson, and I'm the co-founder at Raya Eyewear. We make sunglasses, and I say eyewear is a catch-all term, but sunglasses for racket sports and golf.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So exciting.
Yeah.
And it's working out with your co-founder, so that's great too.
It's working out. It's working out with him. He still talks to me, and like I said, we launched our first product in 2020, and here we are, 4.5 years later, going into Q4 with we're coming out with, I think, 3 new products in November. That'll bring us up to 10. So things are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, awesome. What does an average day look like?
Well, I get up at 4 a.m. and I get an ice bath and I have a green smoothie.
And you meditate for 2 hours.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Me
No, I do
too,
none of
actually.
that. I get up. So it actually starts the night before. I try to write down a lot of the things that I'm working on that are outstanding, just things that are important. I try to get them out of my head at night so I can sleep properly.
Yeah.
Which I do, apparently too much. My wife, Megan, loves to tell me that I look too rested, that for a startup founder that I sleep far too well. But, I prioritize that. And then I just get up. I try to get up before our 1-year-old daughter gets up and starts making demands of me. I just have a coffee. And one of the things I started doing this year that has been very helpful is pretending as if the day is going to end at noon.
Okay.
And for me, I absolutely pack work into that point. And then anything after noon is a win.
Yeah.
Right. And not to say I stop working, I keep working, but that's generally when I start to say, like, okay, I'll have some meetings and do that kind of thing. Cause I'm wearing so many hats these days that if I kind of let the early hours get away from me, then I just find myself falling behind on a lot of the things we're working on. So I try to do that. I don't play squash quite as much as I would like, but still try to stay in shape after work at night after our daughter goes down. So I just try to have consistent days.
Yeah.
Just good working days one after another. And like I said, keep the panic attacks to a minimum.
Yeah, seriously. Well, and you mentioned before that your team's small, so you're doing lots of different things and responsible for a lot of different things. How do you and Jordan split? Like, who's in charge of what at a high level?
Yeah, he's more on the operations, inventory side, our finance side. I mean, we both touch everything essentially. I do a little bit more of our marketing and our website development.
Okay.
But he comes over into that because he's responsible for a lot of our athlete partnerships. So just structuring the content we're trying to get. I'm more looking at then how we get that into finished content, working with the ad buyer to say, okay, here's what we're refreshing. Here's our initiatives. I'm responsible for our email marketing, so that takes up a lot of my time.
Yeah.
Especially as we head into Q4. So I mean, it's almost like a finance ops kind of like focus for him, but he comes over into marketing. And then vice versa for me, that we end up having conversations about, again, where we're trying to take the business and, what the health of our business looks like and how we're going to, plan for product development investments. So it is this kind of fluid relationship with some focus for each of us. But we're pretty aligned on generally what needs to get done for us to be successful at this point.
That's great.
The one thing I would say that has been amazing is finding a great customer service team to work with. We outsource that, but we use an agency that's based here in the U.S., and it's just been very big for us to free up that time.
I bet. And what kinds of things do they do for you?
They're just answering support tickets.
Okay.
Just inbound customer questions, customer issues with ordering, this kind of stuff that our belief is that at this point, it's speed is better than us being there personally, that people actually have a better experience if they get the answers they need quicker.
Yeah.
So it's really a systems thing. And this goes back to kind of my responsibilities. I kind of focus on the whole customer journey and their experience. So, we use Gorgeous, which is a customer service platform that plugs into Shopify. And essentially I focus a lot on how do we build this so that the customer is empowered to do a lot for themselves. As a small business with a small team, I'd love to talk to every customer.
Sure.
And our customers certainly would love to talk to us. A lot of them request phone calls, which unfortunately we can't take. But I think focusing on building better systems and then introducing, outsource to great people. We work with a really, really nice guy who's working on his graduate degree and does this as a part-time job. That allows us to have a better experience for our customers.
That's awesome.
And allows me to then go focus on some other things.
Right.
Because before that it was getting like last year's Q4, we had no customer service help. And it's just like talking about product development, we can't do any of that during the holidays if there are 200 support tickets daily.
And you can't just ignore those.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, well, I'll get back to you in a couple months. It's good.
Yeah. So that's kind of the split. We actually also brought in my sister Meredith. She runs our prescription program, which is a very high touch side of our business. People are, sending you their prescriptions and you're helping them put in an order that's, double or triple the price of a regular pair of eyewear. So we felt it was necessary to bring her in for that, and she crushes it. But that's our little team.
I love it.
Yeah,
I think it's helpful for people to hear this, honestly, because I think there's this misnomer, especially when you're building an e-commerce company, that you can set up a Shopify, you can set up a Google and a Meta ads campaign, and then let it ride.
Yeah.
And you're just going to have all these sales and you're not going to have to do that much. And there's, yes, the technology and tools are great, but they require a ton of human intervention, optimization, strategy. It's not a set it up and the people will come type of structure. No.
I think, funnily enough, we've seen some competitors in our space who I think that.
Yeah.
That are kind of coming up behind us after, we launched in 2020 at a time when pickleball was exploding, right? So like that's one of our racket sports that we serve. And Jordan and I joked that we're like, I don't think people actually would want to do this if they understood the amount that it takes.
Yeah.
Especially in trying to help your customers get what they need. So it's almost like this double-edged sword, right? Like, so if you do the right things to get customers and get sales and you focus heavily on your marketing, then you have all of these people that need help, right? And that's totally understandable. But then you need the time to help them, right? So we're almost like the bigger we get, we're like, okay, this is great. We're growing in the right direction, but we can't sustain this without help.
Right.
And I do think like the Shopify ecosystem and the tools that have been built are incredible.
They are.
Otherwise,
Definitely
I don't know
agree.
how we would do any of this.
Yeah.
However, I think we're very far away from set it and forget it.
Yes.
I don't think that will be a thing for a long time.
No,
So
I agree with you. Even with all the advancements with AI,
totally,
it still is going to require a lot of work.
Totally. I think like on the other side, we look at some of our bigger competitors, and all of our bigger competitors were started Oakley, Maui Jim. These big companies were started before e-commerce was really a thing.
Yeah.
And so we feel like we're actively doing things that they're not doing, which I think is an edge for us. And we take advantage of a lot that the e-commerce ecosystem has to offer.
Yeah. How do you think your background in professional sports has helped you in building out this business?
That's a good question. I think Jordan would say, like, clearly you weren't very calm on tour. Must have been smashing your rackets because you always like to freak out about things. No, I think I think it's helped for me to have persistence. Unfortunately, I did a lot of losing when I was on tour. A lot of good wins, but I think you learn how to lose, especially earlier in your career when you're kind of the new guy on the block. And I think that was helpful. And despite wanting to do lots of different things with our business, we had some early losses, you could call them. We didn't pass some impact standards with our first ever design, and that meant, well, you have to go and re-engineer the whole product from the ground up.
Wow.
And we could have quit then,
sure,
right? And
yeah.
I'm surprised that Jordan didn't, because we were like, wow, this is a headwind for sure.
Yeah.
So being in that space and being under pressure a lot, I feel like has helped me just say, like, okay, like, things are going to go wrong and we're going to figure it out. like I said, I think it's totally different now having a co-founder, and it's essentially like I have someone to lean on, and so that part's actually a little different from being on tour. But yeah, no, I think just being persistent. I think if you don't have thick skin in e-commerce, especially with unfortunately what people want to say on the internet is tough sometimes, but I think you can just push past that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think in building any business, there's going to be failures. There's going to be the roller coaster goes up and it goes down. And to be able to just continue pushing through that is like 70% of the battle, I think,
Totally.
in many cases of what did I learn from that? And then, all right, we'll fix it and we'll figure it out, and having the confidence to do that. So yeah, I totally agree with you on that front.
Yeah, it's tough. But
At 21, did you think you'd be doing this?
I was focused on being, the best squash player in the galaxy, but I always felt like I wanted to start a company. Obviously, I didn't know what I know now, so I don't know if I would still be thinking that just from what it took to get us here. And obviously, you can look back and be very proud of what we did. And I would definitely do it again. But at 21, I was so focused on playing squash and seeing that be my career path that I wasn't necessarily thinking about this. But I think I always wanted to do something after my professional sports career. I didn't want to default into just staying in that, right? Whatever that meant. And it just wasn't for me. I didn't know what it would be. But I always knew it would be difficult exiting a professional sport at, I stopped playing when I was 29, 30. At the time, my goal was to play until 35. And so I always thought, well, it's probably going to be something I need to build myself because, I'm almost reinventing myself at 30 years old. So while I was playing, I essentially was always thinking about what I wanted to do.
And you knew you wanted to be an entrepreneur.
I think so. I like the idea of it. I like the idea of working for myself.
Yeah.
I like having control. I kind of just was always thinking about things that I thought maybe needed to be made. Probably too often. Megan thinks my ideas are mostly ridiculous. I have a new idea every month or week.
All it takes is one good
Exactly,
one.
one good one.
That's all.
That's what I say to her. I say, well, this idea is working out. She's like, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Why eyewear?
So, yeah, and I think maybe this goes to how I was thinking about it at the time. Professionals don't have to wear protective eyewear in squash.
Okay.
And the one tournament that eyewear is mandated, or at the time was mandated, was U.S. Nationals, which was like the most important tournament for me.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, I play the whole year, no eyewear on, and these guys make me put these silly goggles on. This is ridiculous. So it was like 2016, I think. And I essentially used like 5 different pairs throughout one match because they were just so bad, fogging, scratching, like just horrible. And I was like, okay, so what you're telling me is that I'm making a decision between my performance and protecting my eyes.
Yeah.
That there's nothing that I could wear that does both. I think that's ridiculous, right? Because then the answer for every pro is just don't wear them, right?
Right.
And I'm like, well, that's silly because in squash, while it is few and far between, if you get hit in the eye, it's pretty much catastrophic.
Yeah.
You have detached retina. You have what's called an exploded globe. I didn't even know what that was until I started this business. And I was like, that's awful. I never want that to happen to me. And so we're not incentivizing people to actually wear anything while they play. So that was the basis of the idea. And then we realized that applied to pretty much all racket sports. Tennis is a little less about impact, but it's honestly, it's about UV protection that people don't realize that they're spending 3 hours in the sun 5 days a week, what that's going to do, 5, 10, 20 years from now. So we saw that was a gap there. So expanded to all racket sports and then into golf. Golf was very complementary to racket sports, pretty much played in the same kind of space and the same kind of similar customer base, but enough difference to be a worth a full new product. So yeah, that's how we landed here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you guys. That's really cool.
I appreciate it.
And continued growth too.
I know.
That's great.
That's always good.
That's great. Awesome. Well, we will wrap things up with a round of trendy or tragic. So I'll give you some topics. I'll give you a topic and you tell me if you think it's trendy or tragic and why.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, just remember, I live like under a rock.
I kept them.
Hopefully, I know what they are.
I kept them light. People who drink iced coffee all winter.
Actually, that's interesting. I'm okay with that.
Yeah?
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
You're down.
I think it's a totally different beverage than hot coffee.
I agree with you.
Like, so I will have a hot coffee or two, and then I'll have an iced coffee like midday.
Okay.
Just because it's like with lunch or something. I don't know. I could do anything. Anything coffee related is great.
I am an iced coffee drinker, and so I will drink it all year round. Like I don't care if it's 20 degrees out. I want that because it is a different beverage inherently.
It is.
Yeah. It
is. No, I think that's trendy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Emails written by AI.
Ooh, I haven't tried it. My gut is I'm not a fan. People would say, "Oh, well, it's faster." I don't know. I think people still need to like write their emails and just like communicate the way they feel.
Yeah.
And like there's almost like a gut when you start writing that you just wouldn't get with AI.
Yeah.
You would like read the AI message and say, "Oh yeah, that works. That's fine. All right, send." So maybe that goes down a rabbit hole that I don't like. So I'll call that tragic. Yeah.
I think tragic. People can tell. We can tell when AI wrote your email.
Right.
And if you really want to do it, then you need to prompt the system enough so that it sounds like you.
Totally.
You know? Because like I get emails sometimes and I'm like, oh God.
Totally.
Eye roll. You would never use words like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I also think then it might play to like why somebody would do this in the first place. If you're on email far too much, you should just set up some boundaries for yourself.
I agree.
I know that's probably like cheesy and like a productivity hack, but I do think that like you just need to manage your inbox better then.
Yeah.
Spend time talking to people that you want to talk to or
Right.
just, whatever it is.
Right. Or you can write shorter emails. I'm fine with that. I love a short email. Short and sweet. If it needs to be more than like 5 sentences, then we should have a quick phone call.
Exactly.
Yeah. Stay away from the novels.
There you go.
No one's interested in that.
They're not.
Travis Kelce.
Ooh. I don't know. He was at the Yankees game last night. I'm a huge Yankees fan, so I'll give him trendy because he was there with Taylor Swift, and I love that they were there, even though he's rooting for the Royals against the Yankees in the last series. But no, I think it's all fun. I think they have a fun aura around them. I think there's a lot of football. Keep that separate from whatever they're doing. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's engaging, and I think people shouldn't take it too seriously. I think he's a fun guy.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
Some of his outfits are tragic, though.
They probably are.
Oh my gosh.
They probably are.
It's unbelievable sometimes what this guy's walking around in. I mean, good for him. He's having fun.
He's having fun.
Whoa.
He's having fun. I like to send Megan like him or any of these insanely superstar athletes. I have to send them their outfits and be like, all right, what do you think? And Megan's like, would you stop it?
She's like, you would never wear that in Raleigh. Imagine you're walking around in
Raleigh.
Exactly.
You get neutral tones, Chris. And that's what you get.
Yep.
Okay?
Simple.
That is it. So,
amazing. Yeah. Well, tell people where they can find Raya.
We're at RayaEyewear.com. Our name is spelled RIA, eyewear.com. You can Google us or that's our URL. We're, like I said, we're mostly online. You can find us on Instagram at the same tag, but yeah, we're mostly just an internet company. And I think most people a lot of our inbounds are like, hey, like, where can we buy you in stores? I'm like, oh, yeah, I wish I was in every store, but that's a totally different business.
Yeah,
so
that is.
That's where you can find us.
Where can they find you? Do you want to be found?
Can they found? No, I never want to be found unless somebody wants to go for a run or just have a light beer or something. No, I'm in Raleigh and I love it here. I can operate our business from here. My co-founder's up in New York, where he still lives where we grew up. So I love going back there. But yeah, no, I'm here. I'm settled here. I love Raleigh. Don't take me anywhere else.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
All right. So you guys can find us on Instagram at namedrop.pod, and I'm at Malbakes. Thanks so much.